It's impossible.
Ich habe in den Orkstollen etwas gefunden.
Was hast du gefunden?
Meinen Mut.
Den wirst du brauchen.
Your character is much more active in this movie. Was it fun to get a little bit more to do? Because in the first movie it was like a lot of standing around. And
well, you might have thought it was standing around. It was my fucking job, Oliver. You know what I mean? It might have been standing around for you, love. I was doing plenty of walking and sitting and thinking. Lots of talking. Loads of walking, loads of running. Scene 88 alone was about 4 days of running across New Zealand. No, it was nice to get a sword in your hand and to do that sort of stuff. It's a different... Well, it's not a different Bilbo, he's still essentially the same character, but it's a different sort of phase of his life and of his journey, you know, on the way to Erebor, where he needs to be more action.
And he's found some bling, does he?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's part of the thing. You know, his ring is part of the change, but I think as big a deal for him is just the fact that if he doesn't act in these situations, who will act? Do you know what I mean? Because in the spiders, his friends have all been captured by spiders, hung upside down. They're going to die unless he saves them. When they're taken to an elvish prison, they'll be in there forever unless he gets them out. So, of course, the ring helps with the execution of that stuff, but I think the impetus comes from him just thinking, Christ, if I don't do this, then we're all dead.
So I never really observed whether he was like another character. The ambivalence is something which I think exists in every character. It's just, I don't believe in good guys, bad guys, and black and white. I think every character is who they are, and it's just the paths that they choose which shape who they are. And Thorin stumbles down the wrong path on many occasions and is actually often pulled back onto the right path by Bilbo. And I think that's key to his character, his acceptance that that's what Bilbo's doing.
And yeah, he helps them out. Little does he realise they have a much bigger agenda than just seeing their relatives in their homeland. And he finds this out and discovers that they're out to awaken the dragon, which Bard has complete knowledge of, and his ancestors are completely connected to this mountain and to this dragon.
He's getting a lot of shit from the town folks because his father has missed one really important shot, as I understand.
Yeah, it's not his father. This was a few hundred years prior.
Oh,
so
his
it's his grandfather's 6 descendants back. So his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
So these people really hold a grudge, do they?
They do. I don't think it's that much of a grudge anymore. I think it's something that people don't talk about, you know, but Girion was the Lord of Dale, and so Bard's ancestors were quite aristocratic. They were, you know, they were noblemen, and now, as you can see, Bard is anything but a nobleman. He's he has nothing.
Ihr habt kein Recht, diesen Berg zu betreten. Ich allein habe das Recht.
He's now kind of being the new Eowyn. It's like the same story. That, like, I kind of like you, but you like another dude, and
right.
So will we expect a heartbroken Legolas in the next movie?
I don't think that elves. I think that because they're eternal, they're immortal. I think that, you know, the depth of their feeling runs so deep, and there's no hurry. You know what I mean? There's no like. I think that he feels very deeply everything that he feels, but I don't think that it's such. It's hard to say. That's, you know. Yeah, he's going to be heartbroken.
Okay.
And she's heading a bit into like, I'd call it a Twilight dilemma, where she's torn between two men of two species.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that way.
Team Legolas or like Team Kili?
You know, somebody asked me if you had to choose between, you know, Evangeline, if I had to choose between an elf, a dwarf, or a hobbit as a partner, what would I choose? And I said a dwarf because they're manly and rugged and tough, and the elves are a bit androgynous for my taste, and the hobbits are a bit homey.
How much of a pressure is it to basically represent every woman in Middle-earth in this really guy-centric movie.
I love that you just said that. That's a really insightful way of looking at it, which is truly that we had to have at least one female character to represent the females who exist in Middle-earth, because of course it's like regular Earth. It's 50% of the population. And so it was a great responsibility and a great honor. And I think one of the things I was intent upon, and Philippa Walsh and Philippa Boyens and Fran Walsh were also incredibly intent upon, was making sure that in her ability to fight and be ruthless and be a killing machine, that we didn't lose her femininity, and that she still represented feminine power, which in my opinion comes from vulnerability and compassion and love and passion for justice and truth, and those are things that she fights for, where the men are fighting often for greed, for revenge, for selfish reasons. She's fighting for the ideals of defending the weak and the defenseless.
Mit jedem Sieg wird das Böse noch stärker.
Legolas ist dir sehr zugetan. Mach ihm keine Hoffnung, wo keine ist.
Being a fan of the first of the Lord of the Rings movies, I know that you guys had to really learn Elvish and all that. Did you have to go through all that again, or was it still?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for every line of dialogue that was Elvish, I had to learn it. So yeah, it's a very unique dialect. I'll tell you that much, and I like it. It's very sing-songy, but it's quite challenging.
A lot of people lose track while naming all of the dwarves. Can you do it?
I could last year. I don't know whether I can now. Dori, Nori, Ori, Biffa, Bofa, Bomba, Dwalin, Balin, Oin, Gloin, Vili, Gilly, Thorin.
I think that's about right.
Yes.
You should know it because you lead him.
I got it right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Good.
Wir sind die Zwerge Erebors und wir fordern unsere Heimat zurück.
Was it weird to once again talk to Mr. Cumberbatch and try to outwit him, and not really succeeding?
I do succeed.
Do you?
I do succeed, yeah.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah, well, I get away with my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't really doing it with Ben, unfortunately, because we were in separate things, but the scene, I think, works really well. As you watch it, it's that. But in the doing of it, Ben was not in the room, and his voice wasn't in the room.
Not even his voice. So there was just like some grip.
No, it was lovely. Leith McPherson, who was our dialect coach, she was reading in, and I would be reacting to that and looking at a lot of green tennis balls. Yeah.
Do you think there will be a movie where you'll really be the better of it, get the better of him?
Yeah, the next one, I would say. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm never gonna beat Smaug because he's 400 feet tall, but and breathes fire, and Bilbo doesn't do that. But yeah, he does what he needs to do, and you will see in the third one. I think Bilbo has the last laugh over Smaug. He lives longer than Smaug.
That's a spoiler.
Sorry, but the book is 75 years old. So.
Komm her. Nicht so schüchtern. Komm ins Licht.